Hey everybody! So, I don't really have an official topic for what I'd want to talk about. I think I just thinking out loud, I guess. I don't even know if I'll post this. Just kind of, I don't know. I guess who, everybody's had that time where they just press record. I don't know. I have with family stuff, and I'll tell you what, makes the best videos. It really does, to not really have like an agenda, simply because you're not holding an attachment to an outcome. You're just letting it flow, and then therefore you love it for what it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's not this it's not a something that you're hoping for. You're just letting it flow, and it's beautiful for what it is. So, this last year, I spent the year doing the shamanic training wheel program. And I think, honestly, reflecting on it, I think the biggest thing I did was like do a really good clean sweeping of all of my chakras, that rainbow in your body. The thing that literally allows your spirit to have presence on the earth. That's basically what it is, honestly. It's little energies that work together to hold space for aspects of your higher self to come have a human experience. And your astrology chart is basically like the template of energies that you chose as your lens in your area of expansion as far as frequency is concerned, your bandwidth basically, but a fine-tuning. It's very intentionally made. Yeah, the way their design is actually really cool. If you haven't ever gotten your natal chart, you would probably like it, honestly. Here's the thing, and I feel like I always have to talk about this. The religious aspect. I don't like the religious aspect because there's such a dogma around it. And it takes the entire purpose away. And it keeps coming up, and it keeps coming up, and it keeps coming up. But because it's something that Spirit is wanting me to talk about. But I'm still human. So my experience with it is not feeling qualified, I guess. I tend to be kind of a private person. And I've done a lot of growing in the last couple of years, especially the last year. And me being private, I feel like me basically announcing myself as a spiritual person. It's still fresh, and I feel like for the people, not the people who know me, but for the people who, acquaintances, like the Facebook friends, people you don't actually see, but people you've met and people you do still want to engage with. But honestly, the Facebook friends that you have, for me, is kind of like, like when you're walking through, maybe not work, it's more, you know what I mean? Maybe it could be related to church. Like when you're walking through the lobby and you pass all the people and you're like, hey, that type of thing. Like brief bumping elbows type thing. And then the friends. My friends definitely know, but it's just coming out because of me living in a religious area, and because of what I was raised on is dogma. When you strip away dogma, that is so much freedom. Oh my God, there's so much freedom in that. And then especially when you find out that the dogma is worthless. It's not doing anything. It doesn't serve a purpose. It's just something that's there. It doesn't make you any closer to spirit by any means. But the dogma, you know, there's so many, it's almost like people expect an identity or something, and if you're living authentically, then hypothetically speaking, you would be evolving, because you're not going to live inauthentically, unauthentically, whatever the conjugation is. You're not going to live like that and then evolve. You know what I mean? So there's evolution to be upheld there, and people who are evolving are changing. So a label is not going to do you any good, because that label could be a month old and no longer even resonate. I mean, it just depends on what skill you're learning, or like what you're doing and why you're doing it. You know, its purpose and how long it needs. But I think when things are done in dignity and things are done with honor, that fixes a lot of stuff. That fixes a lot of problems. My hair is driving me nuts, if I can be honest. Like, it's growing out, and I'm so thankful. Oh my God. And I worked hard for this, honestly. And it's so pretty. It really, really is. But it's in this, like, awkward phase. And I don't want to get it cut, because all that's going to do is take length. You know? Like, I want it to grow, and it can just be fugly until it grows. And then I'll have it, like, cut into, like, something that frames my face. But until then, like, I'm like, oh, you're so beautiful, but oh, you're also so awkward looking. So we'll probably be messing with it, but also it's nice to just like mess around with it. I don't know, it's so bouncy. Look at these curls, dude. Anyway, self-appreciation, I guess. And honestly, if you think of identity, you're only seeing a teeny tiny glimpse of a moment, something that passes from like every time you see a person or experience, you know, like every time you experience that person for just a moment. So how on earth well, I kind of answered my own question. I was going to say, how on earth can you consider something like that an identity? But then it did cross my mind, you know, the consistency, of course. But that would more likely be considered a pattern, not an identity. So just need to think that one through. But anyway, I've shed a lot this last year. Things that made me angry, things that broke my heart, things I thought I loved. I did a lot of work. And I know what that stillness feels like. The stillness of spirit. Oh man. It's just, stillness is a really good word for it. Peaceful, quiet, just serene, just like a inhale and a nice exhale, you know? But the shadow work is so hard. It's so hard. I mean, well, it's hard no matter what you do. I mean, it's shadow work. It's not going to be comfortable, but it's necessary, and what you gain from it is exactly, think of like the worst thing, okay? Think of how that makes you feel, okay? What if you could reduce that? And just like chip away at it. What if you could reduce it? What if you could What if you could reduce it by half and only make it, and it only be half as like hurtful? Okay. What if you could reduce it down to 25%? What if you were able to completely transcend it and have the opposite energy, the opposite feeling for it, or acceptance? Because these are things that's what shadow work brings you. That's what shadow work does. So yeah, essentially you're ripping that shit wide open, and it hurts. You're ripping it open, but it's done in layers. And because it's done in layers, you're also healing in layers. So you just go a little bit at a time, filling it with light. I had a dream, actually, during the medicine wheel. Oh, there's a cardinal. Cardinals always come when they're delivering messages. That's funny. I had a dream when I was working the medicine wheel. So let's see, I graduated about a month and a half ago. I'm about to get on it again in another month. Ooh. But I was probably halfway through it. So this was probably like 6 months ago. No. Oh my God, it's almost been a year? Man, I really have been busy. Goodness. Yo, I look like I have an afro. Look at this craziness. Like, what is this? Other than a head full of beautiful curls. That's what it is. But anyway. Just almost borderline afro. Does this count as an afro? What? You can't even call this a style. I mean, I guess the back is longer than... Is it a mullet? A mullet? What haircut am I sporting? Anyway, God. That's why I like randomly recording, because what comes through, I guess. And there's not a pressure to, like, look like this, or blah, 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 blah. I don't know, just... Here I am. It's 7:30 on a Wednesday. Yep. In August. Okay. I was talking about something. I had a dream. This was before my hair grew back. Okay? And it was lucid. Now, I don't lucid dream a whole lot. I can count probably about 3 or 4 times that I can just recall off the top of my head, with what they were, about the details and stuff. But I had a dream, and I was looking in the mirror, and everything was just as it, like, actually is in my bedroom, like the master bedroom. And I was looking in the mirror, and I saw myself with a head full of hair, and it was beautiful. And it was so real, and the way, like, I drifted out of that dream was, like, there was no distinguishing thing that, like, that wasn't real. I don't know how to explain it. Nonsensical, I suppose, but I didn't realize that I was dreaming. And that was when Spirit came to me through a dream and was basically telling me, like, because I'd been working on it. It was a self-rejection issue. And that was the first thing that I started working on. That was the first thing that I needed to work on in the medicine wheel. And of course, like I said, it's because abandonment triggered rejection, and then rejection turned into self-rejection. That's what it was. So, I mean, but it also helps in, like, learning to be authentic. So, I mean, it has multi-purposes. I'm not like, ow, this thing just pulled my hair. Okay. But I woke up and I was so sad. I was so sad because I didn't realize that I was dreaming. And that was something that, like, I knew I would overcome. I knew I would heal. I just didn't know how, and I didn't know how long it would take. But I knew that it was temporary. Thought I heard somebody at the door. But I was sad. I was sad that, you know, that wasn't the reality, you know, but then here it is. So I don't complain about how awkward my hair looks very often, because I'm honestly just so damn thankful. You have no idea. Like, if you've ever struggled with, like, hair loss and stuff like that, and you have no idea, like, every time the wind blows, riding in a convertible, rain, heat, because that can change, like, the consistency of, like, your hair products that you have in that are helping you, like, conceal, or also, if you're wearing wigs, the way that the heat, you know, a lot of your body's heat also escapes through your head. So when you're permanently wearing a cap, like, it's literally like wearing a winter hat outside. I'll tell you, honestly. You get hot, man. Like, they're not comfortable. I'm so thankful they exist. Deeply. But there are pros and cons, as there's pros and cons to anything. But anyway, I'm just so thankful to have my own hair. And I can digest my food now. And the symptoms of ADHD don't bother me. Anxiety, depression, like, I feel good. Oh my God, I feel good. That's amazing. I'm thankful for that. And I earned that. I worked hard for that. And I'm not done. I'm just saying, like, I'm not suffering anymore. And I'm thankful for that. But you don't have to suffer. That's the thing. And that's what I learned. I feel like sometimes these, you know, dogma and stuff like that, they kind of glorify suffering as if it's your duty. And to an extent, yeah, you know, you're always going to have pain. We come to Earth to experience polarities and these lower vibrations. So, yeah, you're going to be subjected to pain. But suffering is different. Also through the year, when your vibration changes, so do the vibrations of your relationships. And some relationships get better, and then some people you kind of let go of. And I feel like over this last year, like, I've lost a lot of people. But I was also realizing, you know, because I'm like, I don't really feel like lonely. I'm not lonely, and I have plenty of people that I love in my life. But people that I'm, like, close to, and I was like, you know, I have people that I'm close to, people that I love, and I was thinking that I needed friends, I guess. And then it dawned on me, I'm not looking for friends, I'm looking for community. Community. What triggered this entire video was that. I was looking around my backyard and I was like, man, I have the perfect, like, layout, the perfect amount of space for gardening. And I was like, you know, I could make a big, huge garden out here. And I was like, if we had all that stuff in excess, what would we even do for it? Like, what would we even do with it, you know? And it just made me sad, honestly. It made me sad because I'm like, damn, like, we've gotten so far away from our roots. What the fuck is going on? Capitalism? So let me get this straight. We used to have community, okay? So this person contributed this way, this person contributed this way, and everybody played their little part. But, and they had community, because they worked together, okay? Like, one person was the farmer, one person was somebody who, like, repaired clothes, or did this and the other, and then one person was, like, you know, the medicine person, and then one, you know what I mean? Like, everybody played their little role. And you traded what you bring to the table. You traded your contribution for another contribution. It was just a whole bunch of contribution, okay? But then we turned contribution into service and exchanging services for money. And we created this entire system that has left us with excess, a Jeff Bezos, and a homeless man. Like, that much of an extreme. When if we just had fucking community, we wouldn't have that. Everybody would be good. We have enough resources. Our resources on this earth are not scarce. It's been greed that has people believing this. Like, the government in Africa, they can fix the fucking, like, famine and starvation. There's no reason for anybody in America to be homeless. You know what I mean? Like, and especially for how long the earth has been around and how long people have been on it. Like, come on. Shouldn't we be refined by now? I mean, really, what is everyone doing? Because our answers are so simple. Go back to your roots. You want to heal? Go back to your roots. You want to move forward? Go back to your roots. You want to have community? Go back to your roots. The answer is always going back to your roots. You have to be rooted. You have to be rooted. Authenticity helps you find your community, and your community helps you to be rooted, whatever that looks like for a person. I do think that we could really simplify our time here. We miss so much beauty by playing into the rules that somebody else made and not even, like, questioning them. Not questioning our healthcare, not questioning capitalism, not questioning, like, dogma, not questioning everything. Like, you miss so much beauty. You miss the beauty because we miss the concept. The concept of simplicity would be community. I'm just saying. Maybe that doesn't even make any sense, but it does to me. Stepping back onto the medicine wheel. That is such an intense thing to do, dude. I can't tell you. Like, you move so much energy. So much energy. Like, and remember, energy is physical, mental, intellectual, spiritual, mythical. It's everything is energy. So when you're moving energy, I mean, oh my God. Like, it can be environmental. I mean, it's not something that you just contain into this teeny tiny, you don't put it in a box. Just let it go and let it be. Simplicity. Yeah, so this was about 25 minutes. It's about Seb's time. Look, I love my backyard. Ignore my pool. It is currently dead. Just look at all this greenery. I'm showing this because this is my favorite view of it all. I love this view right here. And my special little spot, if you look between the fence and the shed, there's a tree back there. That's where I like to go have my quiet time. It's just so lush. I speak a lot of love into my land. And I can tell that, like, the birds and all the little creatures in it, they're happy. I love environmental, like, energy stuff. I really, really do. I'm learning a lot right now about environmental stuff and all the effects and little teeny tiny particles that are weaved together to make it what it is, and how to heal it and how to balance it and restore it. It's almost like being a mechanic, honestly. I was explaining that to my husband today. It really does feel like being a mechanic, almost like an energetic. Like, maybe you can compare an illumination or like Reiki or something as like a fuel combo on a car. I was trying to make the analogies that I feel like could make sense, but and sometimes you need to change your cabin filter. Like, say your little chakra has dense energy. You could compare that to changing your cabin filter, you know. And sometimes the AC or the heat breaks and you're too cold or too warm, or you're stalling. You need to charge, or you need detailing. You need cleaning from the inside. Random thoughts in my head that I'm just letting out, I suppose. But that's that. Anyway, it is time to go have... This is what we like to do. We actually like to have dinner on my bed. We'll all have a little powwow. We'll grab our little dinner and we'll go sit on the bed and we'll like read a book or something like that. Or just like hang out. It's just our thing. I don't know. Everybody's family has their own thing. That's one of ours. So, but we're gonna go... I made some delicious tortellini from a home chef. I love having home chef. I'm very appreciative of it. I think it makes too much trash, but I think it's helpful in a lot of ways too. And I need to look more into it, but they say that they offset 100% of their carbon emissions. So I don't know. I'm gonna go look into all that because I think it's important to be aware. But yeah, anyway, tortellini on the bed, and we're gonna read this baby a book because it is a school a night. Anyway, I love everybody, and I hope you're doing well if I do decide to post this.